Hey everybody, wrestling fans, non-wrestling fans, whoever you are watching this video. I felt like I needed to do like an introductory video, kind of like about me, things that I like, my personal beliefs, just to get everybody a little bit more in touch with who I am, where my opinions develop and come from, and just a little bit of background information in case you want to be like YouTube friends and stuff, or Facebook friends even. That's cool. So yeah, I want to kick this off, like pretty much give myself a Q&A, since I don't really have subscribers yet, and I don't really have like a lot of people that want to know a whole bunch about my life history. I just keep it kind of simple, but at the same time, strong enough and addressing stuff that I think would be interesting to you guys, because I'm passionate about it myself. And so just a few quick things. My name is Jon Vente. I am Italian, if you couldn't tell. I come from a small little dinky ass town in New York State. It's right across the river from Hudson. If you ever see a map of New York State, usually the big cities are like New York City, Albany, and Buffalo. And I'm located about 30 miles south of the capital, which is Albany, in a little dinky town called Athens. I don't know what they were thinking when they named it Athens. There's absolutely nothing Greek going on there. We don't even have the deli that had Greek salad anymore. So whatever. But that's where I grew up, is upstate New York. Pretty much we still had dairy farms out there, and I mean it's not like totally Hickville. I mean there's a little bit of redneck going on, but it's not like an epidemic or anything. But the school is really, really small. I think my senior year we could have graduated 101, and we only ended up graduating 96. People either failed or dropped out or whatever. When I did graduate, I don't want to brag. I just want to give you information. I graduated fifth in my class. I was a pretty smart cookie back then. I paid attention a lot. Academics is something that's very important to me. My main goal in life right now is to finish college. I just went back. Go me. I'm studying to be an elementary education teacher. And what that means is at some point I might see one of your children in a classroom, preferably second, third, fourth grade level, something like that. And my main goal for that and my passion behind that is I love to read. I'm very much in tune with literacy. I think that it's a great crying shame that not a lot of kids growing up now, with the video games, with the Xboxes and the PlayStation 3s and the first person shooter games, and even just technology in general, like the internet, where you can spend hours and hours and hours browsing shit beyond shit. I mean, you can watch like Pikachu has sex with a velociraptor on YouTube, and I mean, it's out there probably. So there's just all this stimulation coming around, and none of these kids are learning, like some of the cool fantasy literature stories, that I grew up with, like Chronicles of Narnia, The Hobbit, whatever. And or they're not getting like, stimulated in education enough to want to pursue and like do a report, or even just for their own personal gain to read a book about the life of Ben Franklin, one of the founding fathers of this country, or George Washington. Like, you ask a kid who's George Washington, they'd be like, the guy on the $1 bill. It's like, you're right, but it's more complicated than that. There was in depth. There was this whole Revolutionary War thing, and I just, like awareness. Literacy pairs one and one, to awareness. If you know how to fucking read, you can discern information for yourself, and you can find things. You don't have to go out, on the word of anybody else. It's just you are your own person, and you are bright enough to find things out and form your own opinions. I'm a very literate person. I am, taking a lot of English courses in college right now, and that doesn't make me better than anybody else. It just makes me able to compose a paper better than somebody else. And my focus is on children's literature, so I really want to get at the point of, having children, not only develop the necessary reading skills to get by, but to develop an enjoyment for reading. So I'm not going to like press, book report after book report down their throat. It's just going to be something that comes naturally, like yearning for more information. Like, I remember being a kid, and one of the first books I had, I wish I had it with me right now, actually. Like I was saying, one of my first books that I really loved, and If I could show it to you, I would. It was this WWF Superstars book, and it had, Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage. It had the Million Dollar Man, Ultimate Warrior, Bushwhackers, Legion of Doom, Undertaker. Had Sid Justice. I mean, it was. I think the book came out in '92, right when they had the Royal Rumble at the Knickerbocker Arena in Albany, New York, and that was when Flair won the title in WWF for the first time by eliminating Sid Justice out of the ring with the help of Hogan, who held on to him after he was eliminated. If I get that wrong, sue me, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead on with that. And at the time, it was my favorite book to read because not only did it have like the quotations, from the wrestlers themselves, like "say your prayers and take your vitamins, brother," and all that stuff, and you train real hard, and it had like, "oh yeah, dig it," like it had all the personal information, a couple of really highlights of their careers thus far, like, and I thought that was really cool. And it had an introduction by Hulk Hogan, which I don't know if he actually wrote it or not. It just said that he did, but it talked about like WrestleMania, and it had a couple of histories of WrestleMania in it, like up to that point. Like it had up to, I think, WrestleMania 7, because they hadn't had WrestleMania 8 yet. And it had all the different like stats about who had been like a title holder, and it was just really cool to me because that's something that I'm really interested in, is wrestling, obviously. Ever since diapers, I've had just an intense passion for the sport, and I call it a sport in general because it is a sport to me. They get out there and they perform. It's not entertainment, and it shouldn't be entertainment. Wrestling is a competitive, nature environment where two guys get in the ring with each other and they want to prove that they should be the top guy. And if you're in wrestling and that's not your goal, you might have the wrong sport. There's some guys like Santino Marella right now who capture the crowd, and they're really good at what they do, but they're never going to be heavyweight world champion. And the business needs some of those guys too, and it always needs that little bit of comedy into it, and he's so over that no matter what he does, he's going to get a huge pop, but he's never going to sell as many t-shirts as a John Cena. And that's a really bad example because I don't like Cena. But let's just say he's not going to sell as many shirts as an Austin or a Rock or somebody that was a main eventer and had that it factor. And every time they got in the ring, they proved that they had it. They were on top for a reason. And so I just wanted to make this video to discuss a couple of things that are near and dear to my heart, and I just got my background out of the way. So let me start with a few wrestling questions, and we'll just set the tone with that. Like, my favorite professional wrestler of all time is, rest in peace, the Macho Man Randy Savage. And I could sit here for the next probably 40 minutes and tell you all the accolades of this man's career and just how big of an impact he had on me in drawing me in as a fan over the years. But this is going to link into my next question, which is, what is my favorite feud of all time? And this might shock a couple of people, but I think when you get to the heart of it, at the time that it came out, and as young as I was watching it, it really had an impression on me, because back then I thought that the business was absolutely 100% real, and that was the career-ending match between Savage and the Ultimate Warrior at WrestleMania 7 back in 1991. Now, if I was born in 1983, I would have been 7 going on 8. And to be that young and to be that into wrestling, I mean, that was like my whole life was like wrestling. Like I would watch it on Saturdays, and my mom wouldn't let me stay up to see anything on Monday night. I don't even think it was out yet. That came in like 93, 94 when they started doing Raw. But they had like the Saturday night main event sometimes, and that was too late for me to see. So I saw it Superstars when it used to actually be a good show and have like real champions on it and stuff.